end of the Trump era. Now, okay, I can see how in New York you might believe this is the end of his era. I'm just being honest with you. I live in Ohio amongst the poor whites. A lot of you don't understand why Trump was so popular, but I get it, because I hear it every day. He's very loved. And the reason he's loved is because people in Ohio have never seen somebody like him. He's what I call an honest liar. Probably something wrong with him.
Dave Chappelle said that it was in the press today saying that you can speak more freely over here than in America.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true.
Oh, it's not true.
No.
Yeah,
No.
Do your hunk on Muhammad, Dave.
Yeah. Well, he's a Muslim, David.
I understand.
You know? So it depends on who you are and what you want to talk about. Now, if you go there, there's a pre-decide, like there's a thing you buy into. Do you want to work here? Then don't talk about these two things.
Yeah.
Other than that, my act is pretty offensive to most people. So it's going to be interesting to see how that feels, you know. To me, that's just an opportunity. You know.
Your act is not offensive, it's edgy.
Yeah, it's offensive.
Yes, Dave Chappelle is receiving criticism on social media after saying some things in Saudi Arabia. I have been to Saudi Arabia and I stayed for some time and I understand better what is going on. Dave Chappelle said there is more free speech in Saudi Arabia than in America, criticizing the fact that a lot of people took childish passing like it's their thing, mocking, making ridiculous jokes about it. This was painful at a certain point. I don't take it lightly when I see people doing this. This is not the time for Dave Chappelle to do this. I understand people have the right to make jokes about anything, but don't do this when it relates to things like that. I understand people will come out, oh, you know, he has the right to say what he wants. He's a comedian.
So Dave Chappelle, along with Bill Burr, along with Andrew Schultz, and a bunch of other top brand, top shelf American comedians, went over to Riyadh for the Riyadh Comedy Festival. Now, if that sounds like an Orwellian contradiction in terms, the Riyadh Comedy Festival sounds sort of like the North Korean Dance Festival, then that's because it is. It's ridiculous. What Riyadh is attempting to do right now, what Mohammed bin Salman is attempting to do is create tourist traps in Saudi Arabia because effectively Saudi has no economy other than oil, right? That is still the massive driver of its economy. He is trying to diversify. He's trying to get into tech. He's trying to get into travel and tourism, all of which is fine and dandy. But let's be very clear. Saudi Arabia is an unbelievably repressive country. It remains today an unbelievably repressive country, except for kind of certain touristy areas that are being opened to Westerners so they can come and spend their money. So, a bunch of comedians who are they're constantly violating the taboo. They are the ones who are so brave. They're so brave when there are no consequences to their bravery, by the way. They're very, very brave when the consequence to their bravery is clapper and money in the United States. Not so brave when they go over to Saudi Arabia and abide by every single rule set by the Saudi government for millions of dollars. So, Dave Chappelle, a faux brave person. He goes to Saudi Arabia and he says, right now in America, they say that if you talk about Charlie, you'll get canceled. I don't know if that's true, but I'm going to find out. Wow, look at the bravery of that man. He's going over to Saudi Arabia to rip on Charlie. To make jokes about Charlie. Look at that bravery. Look at that bravery. Perfectly happy to take the money from perfectly happy to take that cash.
And this is for Bill Burr, and if someone could pass it on to him, I'd really appreciate it. Hey, Bill, I know you think you're a man, and one of the reasons why you think you're a man is because you're from Boston, and that makes you instantly a man. No, being a redheaded Irishman from Boston just means you've got a tiny bad in bed. What makes you a man is actually standing up for others, and this shows that you don't do that, because your entire excuse for why it was okay to go to Saudi Arabia and do this was because they didn't beat you. You thought you were going to be, you try to make this like you were brave for going because, oh my God, it's not a comic book. No one thought that. But what people are angry about, what people are upset about is you're helping whitewash human rights abuses, not just human rights abuses that happened in the past, but are happening currently, especially like how they treat Ethiopian workers who come to the country, from using them as ejecting them out of the country when they're done with them to actually hundreds of them. But they don't count. And you should know this is important, dude. Look, or how they have male guardianship over women and what they're allowed to do there, or how they treat people, or like, just keep going on and on and on and on. No one was worried about if you were going to be okay. This is such a white dude take. Hey, I went to Saudi Arabia and I know everyone thought I was going to, but no, I pulled it off. I'm such a man. There are no men left.
Yes, there is something these people don't understand. There are certain things, certain places you can't even touch, no matter how you think there is freedom of speech in Saudi Arabia. When I see Dave Chappelle saying this, I don't want to talk about his religion. I'm just talking based on what I know, out of experience, what I saw when there. Ask this Dave Chappelle to make a joke about the royal family, and let's see if these people will take it normally. There are certain territories you can't even touch when it concerns this issue of comedy. So him saying there is more freedom of speech in Saudi Arabia than in America is something I see to be ridiculous.
It is, man. It's just no fun being famous anymore. It's like y'all made it scary. You know what it feels like being famous? And scary is the right word. It feels like, and I'm not being dramatic, it feels like I'm storming the beach of Normandy, but I got to keep a happy expression on my face all the time. So imagine all the dangers storming the beach, but I still look like this. The bullets are whizzing by and stuff is exploding. I'm just like, and then every once in a while something terrible happens. Bow! And I'm like, oh no!
Yes, take a look at what Libras are putting out on X. This is going to be very unpopular, and I get the charges of hypocrisy, but there is a kind of truth here to what Dave Chappelle said. It is easier to talk in Saudi Arabia than it is in America. On the face of it, just lovable, right? We have the First Amendment, the Southeast people and J journalists and bloggers. When you have top-down censorship as a matter of law or government policies, the boundaries of speech are very clearly defined. The comic were instructed to avoid doing jokes about religion or the royal family. This is just what I said at the beginning of this video. In Saudi, there are a lot of things you can't talk about. Yeah, you shut your mouth. So him saying, oh, you are not allowed to do this here, that was ridiculous. At a certain point, in America, you can say what you want. But don't make mockery of what we recently witnessed. Yeah, you can say, do jokes anyhow, but this was a sensitive something that people need to avoid. Because if you celebrate someone's demise, be ready that people will do unto you one day. Thank you, guys. I will end here.
Even a 5-year-old wouldn't believe. Last time I checked, your ratings are somewhere between a hair in your salad and chlamydia. This is the first interview that you've done since the unthinkable happened, and it was
right, because I generally don't. I give interviews. I don't do them.
J.D. Vance should be the next president of the United States.
I want to appreciate you. Thank you for always supporting me, sharing out my videos. I'm going to end here. As of the short, please, you can skip.
Not happening at the moment.
Yeah. President Obama
is blatant censorship
because he says he has a team of fact checkers.
The FCC want them to stop fooling around with my right to say what I feel.
Right.
Americans, it's a part of who we are.
Because that is really something that didn't happen before.
Does anybody else watch The View? Because I think there's...
I'm going to say one.
Look, there are certain rules of free speech that we must all abide by. But in case anyone needs a refresher, we're going to go over the rules again.
He does not have a right to have a television show where he lies his ass off to the American people.
Well, there are repercussions to spreading lies.
Somebody to get up there, not
all the same people that are in these polite...
I disagree with what Gavin Newsom said, that he doesn't...
In every prison in America.